very good evening to you all. On behalf of KNK Social Foundation and the Leela Palaces Hotels and Resorts, I thank you all for joining us here as we gather to celebrate the momentous occasion of the Honorary Doctorate conferred on our Founder Chairman and Chairman Emeritus, Padmabhushan Dr. Capt. C.P. Krishnan Nair, in the field of literature for his exemplary contribution to the hospitality industry by the Jodhpur National University. Industry leaders such as the Indian Association of Tour Operators, Hotel Investment Forum India, the Condé Nast Traveller Awards, the Times Travel Academy, and the Hotelier India Awards have raised a salute to him with Lifetime Achievement Awards and an induction into the Hall of Fame. For his untiring efforts in environmental conservation, Captain Nair was conferred the Global 500 Laureate Roll of Honor by the United Nations Environment Programme in 1999 from Emperor Akihito in Japan. The Green Hotelier Award by the Geneva-based International Hotel and Restaurant Association, and the Maharana Mewar Foundation's Uday Singh Award for outstanding practical achievements in the protection and improvement of the environment. In 2008, Business Week US listed him among the top 50 global octogenarians who still rock the world. Thank you, Founder Chairman, for continuing to inspire us and impressing upon us that no age is too much to achieve excellence. And music composer, who has been hailed as the first professional lady tabla player in the world by Encyclopedia Britannica, Who's Who of the World, and the Limca Book of Records. She has performed extensively at some of the most prestigious music festivals such as Woodstock, WOMAD, and Night of the Virtuoso, amongst others. Trained by tabla legends Ustad Allah Rakha and Zakir Hussain, Anuradha is the youngest and only lady Indian musician to have performed at Woodstock and WOMAD for audiences about 4 lakhs and 5 lakhs respectively. The troupe with us here today is Asia's first all-famous music group, Trishakti. Along with Anuradha herself, we have Veena Dhari on the mridangam and R. Krishna Priya on the ganjiga. So prepare to be mesmerized as I invite Trishakti to take over.
Is such a great personality, so well known, so accomplished, that I'm truly honored to be a part of your celebration, sir. Thank you so much. And thank you, Prince Uncle, for making this possible, Captain Menon, and all the others of the KK Foundation who are doing such an amazing job for uniting this country in different ways. Through music, culture. The last time I had a great opportunity to perform here, and where I did a tabla jugalbandi, and when Prince Uncle and Captain Menon called me again, I said I will present something unique. And this is unique because it's the only female band, but moreover because this is just a celebration of the spirit of womanhood, the spirit of entrepreneurship that you represent, sir, and that all that you did. I read up about you. There was just so much that, it's impossible to talk about it. But, so I will be presenting something, a short, you could say a short presentation of Stree Shakti. Normally we have a lot more musicians, but this will be a shorter presentation where we will start with Ganapati. So I thought it would be apt to also involve Carnatic and Hindustani music together. Since you're from South India, sir, I said we should have a taste of your food as well, since we are in the hospitality business here. So the mridangam and the ganjira from the south, and they are dedicated, of course. We'll start with thanking Lord Ganesh, with whose blessings we are all, he's the Vigna Harta, so by his blessings we all go ahead in life. and then go on to a celebration of rhythm to celebrate your amazing achievements, sir. Thank you so much. So this is called celebration. This piece, of course, the first piece is a Mahaganapati piece, and then followed by a celebration. Thank you. going to say something and you are going to reply to me. Right? Is that okay, Captain? With your permission? Okay. So we're going to all play something together, alright? And you're going to reply to me. Ta 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 ta. Can you do that? Come on, you can try. So. So now we play one more time. Can we do that? So when we are playing, how about that? All of us, let's clap in beat together. All of you are a very rhythmic audience, let me tell you that. You are in perfect time. Just exercise your skill and help us. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and all of you clap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Yeah, that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 'Bombay City, everybody, there's so many people, different people speaking, different people going around the street. So somebody says, I want to go like this, somebody's asking a question, but they don't understand the question itself. So it's better to go back to my native place. So that's how this language is. So So we'll end. This is a tribute to this wonderful city that we all love, but we all love hate for some good reasons like the traffic. So 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Celebration for Diwali, pre-Diwali celebration. Very short. In fact, this, as you can see, was a Diwali celebration with the firecrackers and the instruments and the percussion. That's why I thought of getting this particular set along. So, a small thing, it's called Aigiri Nandini, dedicated to Lord, to Goddess Kali.
For that enthralling performance, and thank you all for being such an engaging audience. May I now invite Mr. Harish Mehta, Chief Advisor of the K&K Foundation, to take the proceedings forward.
To felicitate our dear Chief Patron, Dr. Captain Krishnan. I have to share with you how a mere thought, when we first had our celebrations at Hiranandani Gardens, Powai, when Dr. Farooq Abdullah was one of our guest of honors, and we had the who's who from the Kerala, Ramesh Chenisala, Pinari Vijayan, and a galaxy of stars. That very day, a seed, my dear friend, my partner, Prince Vedyan and me thought, if we can bring Farooq Abdullah and Kerala together, why not let's do something? So the thought process started, and today it's a reality. So we have the proud privilege of honoring our chief patron who has consented to be with us in this journey of mitigating Kashmir to Kerala together. No organization thus far has maybe thought of how to bring this culturally together and how we can socially bring all the communities, all the religions, and all the people together. So with these few words, I welcome you all to felicitate this evening our dear Captain Nair, Doctorate in Environment and Hospitality, conferred upon him by the Jodhpur University on the 30th of September 2013. Please, sir. Welcome you, sir, who has now moved to Kerala as the Principal Secretary to the Government Power Department, Government of Kerala. Home Department, sorry, the printer, of the Home Department, Government of Kerala. Mr. Radhakrishnan, welcome, sir. We also have Professor Colonel Dr. James Thomas, MB, MS, MCH, MNA, MS, PhD. Oh, I never knew there were so many on one page. Principal Advisor and former Vice Chancellor at the D.Y. Patil Vidyapeeth. May I have you, sir? Welcome to this August gathering. Thank you. May I also have the pleasure of Mr. Pranay Gupta on stage, please. And the thought behind this whole K2K, my dear friend, Prince Vedyan. May I request my team members to please gather here. Mr. Patodia, Mr. Fairwani, Captain Unni Menon, and P.D. Suresh. We'll be welcoming all these guests on stage. Please come. First of all, lovely. Let's have the garlanding of our chief patron by all the members of Kashmir to Kerala Social Foundation. Is Vijay around? Yeah. Okay, please. Let's all gather on stage and welcome and felicitate Captain, Dr. Captain Krishnan Nair. Pleasure. We have Captain Unni Menon, our treasurer, our chairman, Mr. Sunil Patodia, Vijay Fairwani, and P.D. Suresh, and your humble Harish Mehta. Thank you. Captain Unni, Dr. James, Vijay. Dr. James. Vijay. The last dignitary on the dais, please. The author of the book, please felicitate him. Yeah. Thank you. Now, I would request my president, Prince Vaidyan, to please express his gratitude and honor all the people here this evening. Thank you.
KNK Social Foundation Day. ക്ഷണം സ്വീകരിച്ച് ഇവിടെ എത്തിയ എല്ലാ വിശിഷ്ടാതിഥികൾക്കും ആദ്യമായി ഞാൻ നന്ദി പറയട്ടെ. ഞങ്ങളുടെ എല്ലാം പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട ക്യാപ്റ്റൻ കൃഷ്ണൻ നായർ സാറിൻ്റെ ഈ പദവിയിലെ സന്തോഷത്തിനാണ് ഞങ്ങളെല്ലാം ഇവിടെ എത്തിയത്. അദ്ദേഹത്തെ സംബന്ധിച്ചിടത്തോളം ഒരു ഡോക്ടറേറ്റ് ഒന്നും വലിയൊരു വിഷയമായിട്ട് തോന്നുന്ന ഒരാളല്ല. എങ്കിലും ഹോസ്പിറ്റാലിറ്റിയിലെയും എൻവയോൺമെൻറ്റിൻ്റെയും പേരിൽ അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് ഇത് കിട്ടിയപ്പോൾ സ്വയം സന്തോഷിക്കുകയുണ്ടായി. ഇന്ന് ലോകത്തിലെ ഏറ്റവും വലിയ വിഷയമാണ് എൻവയോൺമെൻറ്റ് എന്നുള്ളത്. ആ എൻവയോൺമെൻറ്റിൻ്റെ പേരിലും ഹോസ്പിറ്റാലിറ്റി പേരിലും ജോധ്പൂർ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി കൊടുത്ത ആ ഡോക്ടറേറ്റിൻ്റെ സദസ്സിൽ എനിക്കും കൂടെ ഭാരവാഹത്വം അംഗമായി കാണാൻ സാധിച്ചതിൽ സന്തോഷമുണ്ട്. ഇന്ത്യയിലെ പ്രഗത്ഭരായ എല്ലാ വ്യക്തികളും അവിടെ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. നമ്മുടെ പ്രിയങ്കരനായ അമിതാഭ് ബച്ചനും മുകേഷ് അംബാനിയും സി രംഗരാജനും ഈ രാജ്യത്തെ ഉന്നതരായ ഏകദേശം ഒരു ഡസനോളം ആളുകൾ പങ്കെടുത്ത ഒരു സദസ്സിൽ ആയിരുന്നു ശ്രീ ക്യാപ്റ്റൻ കൃഷ്ണൻ നായർ സാറിന് ഡോക്ടറേറ്റ് ലഭിച്ചത്. ആ സദസ്സിൽ ഞങ്ങൾ എത്തിയപ്പോൾ ജോധ്പൂർ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയിലെ കുട്ടികൾക്കെല്ലാം വളരെ സന്തോഷത്തോടെ കാണാൻ ആഗ്രഹിച്ച ഒരു വ്യക്തിയുടെ പേരാണ് ക്യാപ്റ്റൻ കൃഷ്ണൻ നായർ സാർ. എന്താണ് അത് എന്ന് എനിക്ക് മനസ്സിലായി. അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ആ ലളിതമായ ജീവിതത്തിൻ്റെ ശൈലിയായിരിക്കാം ഒരുപക്ഷെ രാജസ്ഥാനിലെ ജോധ്പൂർ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയിലെ കുട്ടികൾക്ക് പോലും എൻ്റെ അടുക്ക സമീപിച്ച് പറഞ്ഞു, ക്യാപ്റ്റൻ കൃഷ്ണൻ സാറിൻ്റെ ഒരു ബയോഗ്രഫിയിൽ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു സിഗ്നേച്ചർ എനിക്ക് വാങ്ങിച്ചു തരാമോ എന്ന് ചോദിച്ചു. പല ആളുകളും ഫോട്ടോ എടുക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ അടുത്തേക്ക് ഓടി വരുന്നതായി ഞാൻ കണ്ടു. 92ാമത്തെ വയസ്സിൽ ജോധ്പൂർ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി അംഗീകരിച്ച ഒരു ഡോക്ടറേറ്റ് പദവി മാത്രമല്ല അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ജീവിതത്തിലെ എല്ലാ കാര്യങ്ങളും. ഞാൻ അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ കൃഷ്ണലീല എന്ന ഒരു ബുക്ക്, മലയാളം ബുക്ക് വായിക്കുവാനിടയായി. ജീവിതത്തിൽ, മനുഷ്യ ജീവിതത്തിൽ പഠിക്കേണ്ടതായ, കാണേണ്ടതായ ധാരാളം സംഭവങ്ങളും സംഭവ വികാസങ്ങളും ആ കൃഷ്ണലീലയിൽ മലയാളത്തിൽ വളരെ ലളിതമായ രീതിയിൽ അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ എഴുത്തുകാരൻ എഴുതി ചേർത്തിരുന്നു. അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ കൂടെ പല സ്ഥലങ്ങളിലും എനിക്ക് യാത്ര ചെയ്യുവാൻ അവസരം കിട്ടിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ജന്മദേശമായ കണ്ണൂരും ഞാൻ പോകുവാൻ എനിക്ക് അവസരം കിട്ടി. ആ കണ്ണൂരിൽ അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ഒരു പ്രിയ മിത്രം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ആ പ്രിയപുത്രൻ്റെ പേരാണ് ശങ്കരൻ നായർ. ശങ്കരൻ നായരാണ് ജമിനി സർക്കസിൻ്റെ ഭാരവാഹി. അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ 90ാം ബർത്ത്ഡേക്ക് എന്നെയും കൂടെ അദ്ദേഹം കണ്ണൂർ കൊണ്ടുപോയി. കണ്ണൂർ കൊണ്ടുപോയപ്പോൾ പല അവിടുത്തെ VVIPകളും MLAമാരും മിനിസ്റ്റേഴ്സും ഒക്കെ പങ്കെടുത്ത ഒരു മീറ്റിങ്ങിൽ ഒരാൾ പ്രസംഗിച്ച ഒരു വാക്കുകൾ ഞാൻ ഇന്ന് ഓർക്കുകയാണ്. അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ പേര് ലക്ഷ്മണൻ എന്നാണ്. കൃഷ്ണൻ നായർ സാറിൻ്റെ ഒരു പൂർവ്വകാല സുഹൃത്തും കൂടിയാണ്. അദ്ദേഹം പറഞ്ഞു, 50 വർഷത്തിന് മുമ്പ് കണ്ണൂരിൽ ഒരു സാഹിബിനെ ഞങ്ങൾ കണ്ടു. അതാരാണെന്ന് പിന്നെയാണ് മനസ്സിലായത്, അത് കൃഷ്ണൻ നായരായിരുന്നു. സാഹിബ് എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ വസ്ത്രധാരണത്തിൽ അദ്ദേഹം തൊപ്പിയൊക്കെ വെച്ച് ഓപ്പൺ ജീപ്പിൽ, അന്ന് കണ്ണൂരിൽ നിന്നും പാൻ്റ് ഇടുന്ന ആളുകളില്ലായിരുന്നു. കൃഷ്ണൻ നായർ സാറ് പാൻറ്റും ഷർട്ടും ഒക്കെ ഇട്ട് ആ കണ്ണൂർ പട്ടണത്തിൽ കൂടി ഒറ്റയ്ക്ക് വണ്ടി ഓടിച്ചു പോകുന്ന ഒരു യുവാവിനെയായിരുന്നു അന്ന് ആ ലക്ഷ്മണൻ കണ്ടത്. ദൂരെ നിന്ന് ഞങ്ങൾ അദ്ദേഹത്തെ കാണുമ്പോൾ തോന്നി ഇതാരായിരിക്കുമെന്ന്. പക്ഷേ 40-50 വർഷത്തിന് ശേഷം ഞങ്ങൾ കണ്ടത് ലോകത്തെ തന്നെ കീഴടക്കിയ അധ്വാനം കൊണ്ടും അധ്വാനത്തിൻ്റെ ഭാഗം കൊണ്ടും ദീർഘവീക്ഷണത്തോടും കൂടി ലോകത്തിൻ്റെ എല്ലാ കാര്യങ്ങളും കൈത്തുമ്പിൽ ഒതുങ്ങാൻ സാധിക്കുമെന്ന ഒരിക്കൽ കാണിച്ചു കൊടുത്ത ഒരു മലയാളിയാണ് ഡോക്ടർ കൃഷ്ണൻ നായർ സാർ. അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ പൂർവ്വകാല ചരിത്രങ്ങൾ നമ്മൾ ഓരോന്നോരോന്നായി പഠിക്കുമ്പോൾ ഈ തലമുറയ്ക്ക് ഒരുപക്ഷെ പലതും പഠിക്കേണ്ടതായിട്ടുണ്ട്. അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ജീവിതത്തിൽ ഒരുപാട് ആഗ്രഹങ്ങളുള്ള വ്യക്തിയായിരുന്നു. ആഗ്രഹങ്ങൾ എന്താണെന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അന്നും അദ്ദേഹം പറയുന്നത് വിദ്യാഭ്യാസത്തിൽ കൂടി മാത്രമേ ഒരു മനുഷ്യന് മുൻതൂക്കവും ഉയർച്ചയും ഉണ്ടാകൂ എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. അങ്ങനെ അദ്ദേഹം ആഗ്രഹിച്ചു, ഒരു സാധാ നായർ തറവാട്ടിൽ പിറന്ന കൃഷ്ണൻ നായർ സാർ ആഗ്രഹിച്ചു, സ്വപ്നം കണ്ടു, കണ്ണൂരിലിരുന്നു കൊണ്ട് എനിക്ക് ലോകത്തെ കീഴടക്കണമെന്ന്. ആ കീഴടക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി അദ്ദേഹം ആഗ്രഹിച്ചു, എനിക്ക് ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് പറയണം, ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് വിദ്യാഭ്യാസം ചെയ്യണം, നല്ല കോളേജിൽ പഠിക്കണമെന്ന് അന്നേ അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് ആഗ്രഹമുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. കോയിക്കൽ രാജയുടെ അടുത്ത് ചെന്ന് അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ മഹാരാജാവാൻ അന്നത്തെ കോയിക്കൽ ചിറക്കൽ രാജയുടെ അടുത്ത് ചെന്ന് അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ആഗ്രഹം പറഞ്ഞു. വിഷമിക്കേണ്ട കൃഷ്ണ, ഞാൻ നിന്നെ സഹായിക്കാമെന്ന് ചിറക്കൽ രാജ പറഞ്ഞിരുന്നു. പക്ഷേ അന്നത്തെ രാജവംശത്തിലുള്ള പ്രഗത്ഭരായ ആയിരുന്നെങ്കിൽ തന്നെയും ഒരുപക്ഷെ അവരുടെ കയ്യിലൊന്നും ധാരാളം പൈസ ഇടപാടുകളൊന്നുമില്ല. വസ്തുവകളൊക്കെ ധാരാളം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. വസ്തുക്കൾക്കൊന്നും അന്ന് വിലയും ഇല്ലാത്ത ഒരു കാലഘട്ടമായിരുന്നു. അങ്ങനെ അദ്ദേഹം പോയി ജീവിതത്തിലെ എനിക്ക് ഉന്നത വിദ്യാഭ്യാസം നടത്തണമെന്നുള്ള ആഗ്രഹം പ്രകടിപ്പിച്ചപ്പോൾ ചിറക്കൽ വലിയ രാജ പറഞ്ഞു, കൃഷ്ണ, ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞത് സത്യമായിരുന്നു, പക്ഷേ എനിക്ക് സാമ്പത്തികമായി സഹായിക്കാൻ ഇപ്പോൾ സാധിക്കുന്നില്ല എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. ദുഃഖത്തോടുകൂടി കൃഷ്ണൻ നായർ സാർ തിരിഞ്ഞു നിന്നപ്പോൾ വീണ്ടും വിളിച്ചു, കൃഷ്ണ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ് അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ കയ്യിൽ കിടന്ന ചിറക്കൽ വലിയ രാജയുടെ കയ്യിൽ കിടന്ന ഒരു വജ്രമോതിരം ഊരി കൃഷ്ണൻ നായർ സാറിന് കൊടുത്തു. ആ വജ്രമോതിരവുമായി അദ്ദേഹം മദ്രാസ് സർവകലാശാലയിൽ പോയി പഠിക്കാൻ പോയി. അന്ന് അദ്ദേഹം നല്ല എക്സർസൈസ് ചെയ്യുമായിരുന്നു, നടക്കുമായിരുന്നു, നല്ല ആളുകളുമായിട്ട് ബന്ധം സ്വീകരിക്കുമായിരുന്നു. അതെല്ലാം സാധിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് കൊടുത്ത വജ്രമോതിരം ഒരു വ്യാപാരികടയിൽ കൊടുത്ത് വിറ്റ് കിട്ടിയ 4500 രൂപ കൊണ്ടാണ് കൃഷ്ണൻ നായരുടെ ജീവിതം ആരംഭിക്കുന്നത്. സത്യമായിട്ടും ഇതൊക്കെ ഓർക്കുമ്പോൾ ഇന്നത്തെ പൊതുജനങ്ങളുടെ ഇടയിൽ ഇതൊക്കെ വലിയൊരു അനുഭവമായി തുടങ്ങാം. പക്ഷേ ചിറക്കൽ രാജ കൊടുത്ത സൗകര്യവും പണവും ഒന്നും അദ്ദേഹം പാഴാക്കിയില്ല. അന്നത്തെ കാലത്ത് ഏറ്റവും നല്ല യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയിൽ നിന്നും വിദ്യാഭ്യാസം നേടി ആർമിയിലേക്ക് പോവുകയായിരുന്നു. അവിടെ ചെന്നിട്ടോ അവിടെയും ഒന്നാമനാവാൻ ശ്രമിച്ചു. ഇന്ത്യ രാജ്യം കണ്ട എല്ലാ പ്രധാനമന്ത്രിമാരുടെയും കൂടെ സഹകരിക്കാൻ അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് സാധിച്ചു. ഇന്ത്യ കണ്ടിട്ടുള്ള എല്ലാ പ്രഗത്ഭരായ ആളുകളുടെ കൂടെയും അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് സഹകരിക്കാൻ സാധിച്ചു. അതിനുശേഷം അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ അങ്കിൾ എന്നറിയപ്പെടുന്ന BP മേനോൻ്റെ ആശീർവാദത്തിനും അനുഗ്രഹത്തിലും ഇന്ത്യ മഹാരാജ്യത്ത് വീണ്ടും ഒരു സ്വർണ്ണക്കൊടി ചാർത്തുവാൻ കൃഷ്ണൻ നായർ ആഗ്രഹിച്ചു. അദ്ദേഹത്തിനോട് ഞാൻ ചോദിച്ചു, സാർ, ഞാൻ ഇടയ്ക്കിടയ്ക്ക് കൃഷ്ണൻ നായർ സാറിൻ്റെ അടുക്ക പോവും കഥകൾ കേൾക്കാൻ. എന്നെ വലിയ ഇഷ്ടമാണ്, ഞാൻ കഥകൾ കേൾക്കും. അദ്ദേഹം പറയും, മലയാളം പറയുന്നതിന് വലിയ ഇഷ്ടമാണ് കൃഷ്ണൻ നായർ സാർ. അദ്ദേഹം എന്നോടൊരു കഥ പറഞ്ഞു. പ്രിൻസേ, ഞാൻ ആദ്യമായി ഹോട്ടൽ വ്യവസായം തുടങ്ങാൻ ആഗ്രഹിച്ചപ്പോൾ എൻ്റെ കയ്യിൽ പൈസയില്ലായിരുന്നു. അങ്ങനെ നരിമൻ പോയിന്റിലുള്ള SBI ബാങ്കിൽ ചെന്ന് അദ്ദേഹം പറഞ്ഞു, എനിക്കൊരു ഹോട്ടൽ തുടങ്ങണം, ഇന്നത്തെ മഹാരാഷ്ട്രയുടെ മുഖ്യമന്ത്രി എനിക്കൊരു സ്ഥലമൊക്കെ തരാമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. അപ്പോൾ അവർ ചോദിച്ചു, നിങ്ങളുടെ കയ്യിൽ എത്ര പണമുണ്ട്? കൃഷ്ണൻ നായർ സാർ പറഞ്ഞു, എൻ്റെ കയ്യിൽ പണമൊന്നുമില്ല, മനുഷ്യ ആഗ്രഹമുണ്ട് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. ആഗ്രഹമുണ്ട്, പക്ഷേ എനിക്ക് ഹോട്ടൽ തുടങ്ങാനായിട്ട് ഇപ്പം സാമ്പത്തിക സഹായം ചെയ്യാൻ ഒക്കില്ല എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ് അദ്ദേഹത്തെ തിരിച്ചയച്ചു. അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട സുഹൃത്തുക്കൾ ധാരാളം ഈ രാജ്യത്തിൻ്റെ ഉന്നതമായ സ്ഥാനങ്ങൾ വഹിക്കുന്നതോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ വിദേശ രാജ്യങ്ങളിലും കൃഷ്ണൻ നായർ സാറിൻ്റെ ഫ്രണ്ട്സ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അദ്ദേഹം അമേരിക്കയിൽ ഒരു യാത്ര നടത്തി. തിരിച്ചു വന്നപ്പോൾ ഈ ബാങ്ക് കൊടുക്കത്തില്ല എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ അക്കൗണ്ടിൽ കോടിക്കണക്കിന് രൂപയുടെ ഡെപ്പോസിറ്റ് വന്ന് അദ്ദേഹം ആ വഴിക്കേ പോയില്ല. അവസാനം അന്വേഷിച്ചു, ഇത്രയും കോടി രൂപ ഇവിടെ ഡെപ്പോസിറ്റ് കിടക്കുന്ന ആ കൃഷ്ണൻ നായരെ ഒന്ന് കാണണമെന്ന് അദ്ദേഹം ആഗ്രഹിച്ചു. അങ്ങനെ SBIയുടെ നരിമൻ പോയിന്റ് ബ്രാഞ്ചിലെ ആളുകളെല്ലാം കൃഷ്ണൻ നായർ സാറിനെ അന്വേഷിച്ച് വരികയും അന്ന് അദ്ദേഹം ആഗ്രഹിച്ചതിൽ കൂടുതൽ പണം കൊടുത്ത് അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ഈ പ്രസ്ഥാനം കെട്ടിപ്പടുക്കുവാൻ ബേസിക് ഉറപ്പിച്ചു. ഇത് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു കാരണം 92 വയസ്സായ കൃഷ്ണൻ നായർ സാറുടെ ഈ ആദർശങ്ങളും ഉദ്ദേശങ്ങളും ഉദ്ദേശശുദ്ധിയുമൊക്കെ ഈ രാജ്യത്തെ ജനങ്ങൾ മനസ്സിലാക്കേണ്ടതായിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഇതൊന്നും പറയുവാൻ അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് നാണമോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ വൈഷമ്യമോ ഉള്ള ആളല്ല. ജീവിതത്തിൽ എല്ലാ കാര്യങ്ങളും തുറന്നു പറഞ്ഞ് ഈ രാജ്യത്തെ നല്ലവരായി ജീവിക്കുവാൻ ആഗ്രഹിക്കുന്ന ഒരു മഹത് വ്യക്തിയാണ് കൃഷ്ണൻ നായർ സാർ. അതിൻ്റെ എല്ലാം പിന്നിൽ ഒരാളുണ്ട്, പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട ലീലാമ്മ. ലോക ചരിത്രത്തിൽ കണ്ടിട്ടുള്ളതിലേക്ക് ഏറ്റവും വലിയ വാത്സല്യവും സ്നേഹവും കൊടുത്ത് ജീവിക്കുന്ന 2 പേരാണ് കൃഷ്ണൻ നായർ സാറും സഹധർമ്മിണി ലീലാമ്മയും. അവരുടെ സ്നേഹം, അവരുടെ ആഠ്യത ഈ ലോകത്തിൻ്റെ ഒരു ഉദാഹരണമാണ്. മാതാപിതാക്കളോടെ ജനങ്ങൾ കാണിക്കേണ്ട ബഹുമാനം എന്താണ് മക്കൾക്ക് കാണിച്ചു കൊടുക്കുവാൻ മുൻതൂക്കം നൽകുന്ന ആ പ്രഗത്ഭമായ വ്യക്തിയുടെ താഠ്യത്വവും സന്തോഷവും സ്നേഹവും ഒരു പുതിയ തലമുറയ്ക്ക് ഒരു മാതൃകയായി മാറുകയാണ്. അതോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ജീവിത ശൈലിയിലെ പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങൾ ഈ രാജ്യത്തെ ഉന്നതന്മാർക്ക് എപ്പോഴും ഒരു പ്രയോജനമാണ്. പലപ്പോഴും പല ആളുകളും അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ കൃഷ്ണൻ നായർ സാറിൻ്റെ അനുഗ്രഹവും ആശീർവാദവും കിട്ടുവാൻ വേണ്ടി ഇവിടെ എത്താറുണ്ട്. ഒരു പ്രാവശ്യം കൃഷ്ണൻ നായർ സാറിൻ്റെ അടുത്ത് ചെന്ന് അദ്ദേഹത്തെ കാണുവാനും അദ്ദേഹത്തിനോട് ഒരു ഷേക്ക് ഹാൻഡ് കൊടുക്കുവാൻ പോയാൽ അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ഒരു ഷേക്ക് ഹാൻഡ് കിട്ടിയാൽ പോലും ഒരു വൈബ്രൻ്റ് എനർജി ആയിട്ട് നമുക്ക് മാറാൻ സാധിക്കും. ആ വൈബ്രൻ്റ് എനർജി ഈ രാജ്യത്തെ ജനങ്ങൾക്ക് എന്നും പ്രയോജനമായി തീരുവാൻ നമുക്ക് ദൈവത്തോടെ അനുഗ്രഹവും ദീർഘായുസ് ഇനിയും കൊടുക്കട്ടെ. ധാരാളം ദീർഘായുസും പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങളും ചെയ്ത് അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് ഈ രാജ്യത്തിൻ്റെ ഒരു വ്യവസായികളുടെ ഇടയിൽ ഒരു ഉന്മോചനമായി മാറട്ടെ എന്ന് ഞാൻ ആശംസിക്കുകയാണ്. പിന്നെ അതോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ ഇവിടെ നമ്മുടെ ക്ഷണം സ്വീകരിച്ച് ഇവിടെ എത്തിയിരിക്കുന്ന എൽ രാധാകൃഷ്ണനെ സംബന്ധിച്ചിടത്തോളം അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ഇടയ്ക്ക് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു, നമ്മുടെ കൃഷ്ണൻ നായർ സാറിൻ്റെ ഡോക്ടറേറ്റ് കിട്ടേണ്ട ഫെസിലിറ്റേഷനാണ് സാർ വരണമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. ഇന്നത്തെ കേരളത്തിൻ്റെ പൊളിറ്റിക്കൽ സ്ഥിതിയൊക്കെ അനുസരിച്ചിട്ട് ഒരുപക്ഷെ അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് വരാൻ ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നെങ്കിൽ തന്നെ ആ പ്രോഗ്രാം എല്ലാം മാറ്റിവെച്ച് അദ്ദേഹം ഇന്ന് ഈ സദസ്സിലേക്ക് എത്തിയിരിക്കുകയാണ്. കാരണം കൃഷ്ണൻ നായർ സാറിനോട് ഇടപെട്ട സന്ദർഭങ്ങളും അദ്ദേഹത്തോട് ഇടപെട്ട സൗഭാഗ്യങ്ങളുമെല്ലാം ഒരുപക്ഷെ അദ്ദേഹത്തിനൊരു പ്രചോദനമായി തോന്നിയതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഇന്ന് എൽ രാധാകൃഷ്ണൻ ഇവിടെ എത്തിയത്. അദ്ദേഹം മഹാരാഷ്ട്ര കണ്ടിട്ടുള്ളതിലേക്കും വെച്ച് JNBTയിലെ ചെയർമാൻ സ്ഥാനത്തിരുന്നതിൽ കൂട്ടിൽ ഏറ്റവും പ്രഗത്ഭനായ ഒരു വ്യക്തിയാണ് എൽ രാധാകൃഷ്ണൻ. ആ രാധാകൃഷ്ണൻ സാറിനെ ഇവിടേക്ക് ഇന്ന് കിട്ടിയതിൽ വളരെ സന്തോഷമുണ്ട്. ഞങ്ങൾ അഭിമാനപൂർവ്വം അങ്ങേ സ്മരിക്കുന്നു. അദ്ദേഹത്തെ സംബന്ധിച്ചിടത്തോളം അദ്ദേഹം പവർ സെക്രട്ടറി ആയിട്ടിരുന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്, ഫോറസ്റ്റ് സെക്രട്ടറി ആയിട്ടുണ്ട്, റവന്യൂ സെക്രട്ടറി ആയിട്ടിരുന്നിട്ട് അവസാനം അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ സ്ഥാനവും ഇവിടെ മഹാരാഷ്ട്രയുടെ JNBTയുടെ ചെയർമാൻ സ്ഥാനവും എത്തി. JNBTയെ വേറൊരു രൂപത്തിലേക്ക് കൊണ്ടുപോയി വളർത്തിയെടുത്തതിന് ശേഷമാണ് കേരളത്തിൻ്റെ സ്വദേശമായ കേരളത്തിലെ ഹോം സെക്രട്ടറി ആയിട്ട് പോകുന്നത്. ഇന്ന് മുഖ്യമന്ത്രി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ, ഹോം മിനിസ്റ്റർ കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഏറ്റവും പവർഫുൾ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു പ്രിൻസിപ്പൽ സെക്രട്ടറിയാണ് രാധാകൃഷ്ണൻ സാർ. അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ സേവനം കേരളത്തിൽ അവസാനിക്കാതെ അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ പല സന്ദർഭങ്ങളിലും അദ്ദേഹം JNBT ചെയർമാനായിട്ടിരുന്ന സമയത്ത് അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ചില മീറ്റിങ്ങുകളിലൊക്കെ എനിക്കും സംഘടിപ്പിക്കുവാൻ സാധിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ വൈബ്രൻ്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഈ രാജ്യത്തിൻ്റെ ഇൻഫ്രാസ്ട്രക്ചർ ഡെവലപ്മെൻറ്റിനെ പറ്റി സംസാരിക്കുന്ന ശൈലിയും രൂപവുമെല്ലാം വാസ്തവത്തിൽ ഒരുപക്ഷെ വരും നാളുകളിൽ ഇന്ത്യയുടെ പ്രധാനമന്ത്രിയുടെ ഓഫീസിൽ പോലും അദ്ദേഹം ഇരുന്ന് ഈ രാജ്യത്തെ നിയന്ത്രിക്കുവാൻ അനുഗ്രഹിക്കട്ടെ എന്ന് ഞാൻ ദൈവത്തോട് പ്രാർത്ഥിക്കുകയാണ്. ഡോക്ടർ ജെയിംസിനെ പറ്റി ഞാൻ കൂടുതലായൊന്നും പറയേണ്ട കാര്യമില്ല. ഈ മലയാളികൾ എവിടെയുണ്ടോ അദ്ദേഹം അവിടെ എത്തിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. ആയിരക്കണക്കിന് ഹൃദയ ശസ്ത്രക്രിയ നടത്തിയ, ഡോക്ടറേറ്റ് നേടിയ, 1 പേജിലോ 2 പേജിലോ അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ഡോക്ടറേറ്റിൻ്റെ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അദ്ദേഹം ചെയ്ത പ്രവർത്തനത്തിൻ്റെ സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റ് ഒന്നും എഴുതി തീർക്കാനൊക്കാത്ത രീതിയിലുള്ള വളരെ വൈബ്രൻ്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള മുംബൈയിൽ ജീവിച്ചിരിക്കുന്ന ഏറ്റവും നല്ല വ്യക്തിപ്രഭാവങ്ങളിലൊന്നാണ് ഡോക്ടർ ജെയിംസ്. അദ്ദേഹത്തിനെയും ഈ സദസ്സിൽ കിട്ടിയതിൽ ഞാൻ വളരെയേറെ സന്തോഷിക്കുന്നു. വെൽക്കം സാർ, താങ്ക് യു വെരി മച്ച് സാർ. മൂന്നാമത് ഇവിടെ ഇരിക്കുന്ന ആൾ മിസ്റ്റർ പ്രണയ് റോയ്. അദ്ദേഹമാണ് ലോകപ്രശസ്തരുടെ കഥകളും ലോകപ്രശസ്ത ബയോഗ്രഫികളും എഴുതിയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് ബേസ്, അമേരിക്കൻ ബേസ് ബുക്ക്, ഒരു തിയറി എഴുതുന്ന അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഹിസ്റ്ററി എഴുതുന്ന വലിയൊരു ബുക്ക് എഴുതുന്ന വലിയൊരു ഉടമയാണ് അദ്ദേഹം. അദ്ദേഹം നമ്മുടെ ഡോക്ടർ റെഡ്ഡിയുടെയൊക്കെ എഴുതിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഇപ്പോൾ അദ്ദേഹത്തിനെ വിദേശത്തു നിന്നും നോമിനേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് കൃഷ്ണൻ നായർ സാറിൻ്റെ ബയോഗ്രഫി എഴുതാൻ ഇവിടെ എത്തിയിരിക്കുകയാണ്. അദ്ദേഹത്തിനും ഈ സദസ്സിലേക്ക് വെൽക്കം സാർ. താങ്ക് യു വെരി മച്ച് ഫോർ ദ പ്രസൻസ് ഫോർ ദ ഫസ്റ്റ് വൺ. അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ അസിസ്റ്റൻറ്റ് ഇവിടെയുണ്ട്, അമേരിക്കൻ ലേഡിയാണ്. ഈസ് ആൾസോ ഹിയർ, യു ആൾസോ ഹിയർ. താങ്ക് യു വെരി മച്ച് ഫോർ യു ആർ വെൽക്കം ടു അവർ ഫംഗ്ഷൻ. ഒരിക്കൽ കൂടി ഈ സദസ്സിനെയും ഇവിടെ എത്തിയിരിക്കുന്ന എല്ലാ ആളുകളെയും ഒരിക്കൽ കൂടി നന്ദി പറയുന്നു. അതോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ ചോയ്സ് ഗ്രൂപ്പ് ഓഫ് കമ്പനീസിൻ്റെ ഏകദേശം 5,000 crore ടേൺ ഓവറുള്ള ഒരു കമ്പനിയുടെ ചെയർമാനാണ് ശ്രീ സുനിൽ പട്ടോഡിയ. അദ്ദേഹം KNKയുടെ സോഷ്യൽ ഫൗണ്ടേഷൻ്റെ ചെയർമാനാണ്. അദ്ദേഹത്തെയും ഈ സ്ഥലത്തിൽ വെൽക്കം ചെയ്യുന്നു. താങ്ക് യു വെരി മച്ച്. അതോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ ഞങ്ങളുടെ എല്ലാം പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട ഒരാൾ ഇവിടെ ഇരിപ്പുണ്ട്. പക്ഷേ അദ്ദേഹം ഈ പ്രോഗ്രാമിൽ വന്നത് ലേറ്റാണ്. അദ്ദേഹം വന്നത് ഡോക്ടർ റവറൻ ജയസിംഗ്. പ്ലീസ് കം ടു ദ സ്റ്റേജ് സാർ. ഡോക്ടർ ജയസിംഗ് UN പീസ് റെപ്രസെൻറ്റേറ്റീവ് ആണ്. അദ്ദേഹം കൃഷ്ണൻ നായർ സാറിൻ്റെ ഏറ്റവും പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട സുഹൃത്താണ്. ഐ ടോൾഡ് യു മസ്റ്റ് കം ടു അവർ ദിസ് പ്രോഗ്രാം ആൻഡ് ഹി ജസ്റ്റ് അറൈവ്ഡ് ഫ്രം ഡൽഹി. ആൻഡ് താങ്ക് യു വെരി മച്ച് സാർ. പ്ലീസ് വെൽക്കം ടു ദ സ്റ്റേജ് സാർ. ഡോക്ടർ ജയസിംഗ് പ്ലീസ്. But yes, sir. Now I am inviting L. Krishnan to speak about our beloved Dr. Krishnan Nair. Please welcome, sir. Thank you very much.
Respected Dr. Padmashri Krishnan Nair, sir, Mrs. Leela Krishnan Nair, other dignitaries on the dais and in the audience, dear ladies and gentlemen, let me at the outset thank the KK Foundation led by the various dignitaries here and my friend Mr. Prince Vaidyan for giving me an opportunity to pay tribute to such a colossus as Captain Krishnan Nair. Now, in an era when we are having trouble finding models, role models in Indian society, and such role models are very difficult to come by, we have a phenomenon called Padmabhushan Captain Krishnan Nair. Even at an active, alert 91, accolades and honors never seem to stop by for him. And his latest recognition being the Honorary Doctorate of Jodhpur National University for his contribution to hospitality industry and acumen in business management. This he had received along with the doyen of Hindi cinema, Amitabh Bachchan. How does one start to unravel the enigma called Captain Krishnan Nair? I think that he remains an enigma. I first heard of him and started admiring him from my uncle. I don't know whether he remembers, and many of the people here will not know. My father's twin brother used to live in Bombay. He was a textile technologist. He used to work here, and he also ran some industries for about 50 years. He used to live in Pali Hill and used to be a friend of Dr. Krishnan Nair. His name was G. Raghavan Pillai. And he used to tell me in the late 70s and 80s, when I was just out of college, about a great entrepreneur, because he used to admire him tremendously. And I believe he has planted, helped Dr. Krishnan Nair plant most of the garden and the trees over here, which are still there. And I used to hear about this legendary personality and wonder when I'm going to meet him. And I had this impression, which is true of course, that he was an amazing entrepreneur and more than that an amazing human being. And the first opportunity I had to meet him was when I was Secretary for Industries and Commerce, when Mrs. Sushila Gopalan, the wife of the late A.K. Gopalan, was the Industries and Commerce Minister of Kerala. At that time, I had come along with her as the Secretary for Industries and Commerce, and she was trying to get him to invest in Kerala, particularly to revive the traditional handlooms and handicrafts in northern Kerala. And I was struck by his optimism and by his dynamism, even because I had imagined him to be a person like that, and he even exceeded my imagination. I would sum up Dr. Krishnan Nair as an entrepreneur par excellence. You know, I think this nation, and particularly the state of Kerala, does not value entrepreneurism. I, for one, believe that real wealth of a country is its entrepreneurs. You know, you have countries where there is no natural resource available, you don't have much of infrastructure. Look at post-war Japan, for example. The only thing they had was destroyed infrastructure and the will to succeed and entrepreneurism. And they quickly made up for lost time. And it was sheer entrepreneurism which brought them to the second biggest economy in the world after the United States of America. Such growth in economy can only be led by entrepreneurs such as Dr. Krishnan Nair. And Kerala, I'm sorry sir, has not been able to avail of your tremendous entrepreneurship, except of course we have the Leela Hotel in Kovalam. But other than that, not many opportunities for entrepreneurship could be enjoyed by Kerala. But I think it is Kerala's loss but India's gain. I think that what is the quality of an entrepreneur? I find that the entrepreneur recognizes opportunity where others don't see the opportunity. And the entrepreneur grabs that opportunity. And he also has a certain risk-taking ability. It's not a blind risk-taking ability. He has an ability to assess the risk and take a risk which he can bear. And that is what helps an entrepreneur to create wealth out of nothing. Just human resources and other people's money, he creates wealth. I think his wife, Mrs. Leela Krishnan Nair, has once said, I've read in an interview, that whatever Krishnan Nair sir touches turns into gold. This is really true of an excellent entrepreneur. And he never wastes an opportunity. He waits for the right timing to start something. Once he told me that it was Ramakrishna Hegde, when he went to Bangalore to meet him, said, why don't you start a hotel here? And he waited and started the hotel in 2001. And that was a time the software industry in Bangalore was growing very fast. And this was very close to the airport. So here was an opportunity. They wanted a world-class hotel, Bangalore had none, and there was Leela. And that created a model for Indian hotel industry, and I'm sure that leadership and innovation still continues. Another very strong, admirable quality I find him is his unflinching optimism. Whatever be the problem which comes to him, he faces it with laughter, just as he's doing now. It gives tremendous confidence to people who are along with him and supporting him. When we think we are in a sinking boat, we hear a man with a tremendous amount of optimism and laughing. Naturally, it really raises the morale of the entire team, and that is what he has been doing in Leela Group. There have been always there will be ups and downs in the life of a businessman. You know, earlier when Leela had a tie-up with Penta, I don't think it was a very good experience. It was a short experience. Quickly moved over to Kempinski, and that was a very, very fruitful relationship and a long relationship. And you know, hotel projects are long gestation projects. You got to invest in property, you got to get the clearances. He had to deal with bureaucracy, particularly the umpteen number of clearances that has to come in construction of hotels, in every entrepreneurial activity in India. And property in Goa, for example, invested heavily in it and took a very long time to come out and really start making money out of it. But he kept steadfast and he kept being an optimist. The Delhi experience with the HUDCO property is also known. I think he had a very bad experience. The former chairman of HUDCO, Mr. Suresh, is a good friend of mine, is here. But it was a bad time at that time, but later he won. The Udaipur property, you know, so many cases where a person in his 60s or early 70s would say, okay, I've had enough, I'm quitting. But not Dr. Krishnan Nair. Captain Krishnan Nair was facing all these challenges with a smile and with his indomitable will and tremendous amount of passion and enthusiasm for the hoteliering industry. He has been able to bring Leela Group to such a large group with more than 8 valuable properties and 5 or 6 more in the pipeline. Another very good quality I find him is vision, not necessarily in the issue of hoteliering or hospitality sector. His vision for India, his vision for the people of India, vision for society. I have never seen such a visionary who has such a practical view also. Most visionaries are idealists who like to dream about things. But Dr. Krishnan Nair is quite the opposite. He believes in a dream and he works towards it, and he shows in a very realistic way that these dreams can be achieved. And this is a very great quality, sir. I try to emulate you in dreaming big. But you always should dream big. And in Dr. Krishnan Nair, we have an eminent nationalist. I have found few people who are as proud to be an Indian as he is. He's always said and felt it from his heart that Indians can achieve anything. If we have achieved quite a lot, particularly post 1990, the liberalization and so on. It is because the qualities which he said, pride in India, in a globalized world, we can still survive, that confidence, everything comes from him. His leadership and innovation are exemplary. His leadership, I think, started very young. When I talk about his life, we'll come to know about it. He always showed leadership wherever he worked, whether he was in school, or whether he was in the freedom movement, or whether he was in the army, or whether he was in the handloom industry, or later on in the hospitality sector. He always showed leadership, and people looked up to him as a leader because he set a trend which others were happy to follow. His social commitment is another very, very important quality I value. And I think it's probably because of his socialistic moorings, contact with A.K. Gopalan and so on. It is there somewhere deep in his mind. He knows that for production, for creation of wealth, you need to have an approach which may not be a socialistic method of production. But he still believes a lot in distributive justice, particularly in terms of education of poor people, children. He's a staunch believer that everybody must have free education for as long as he wants. And I'm sure that India, and particularly Kerala, has produced huge manpower exports which are really sustaining the economy only because of our educational background. The basic education, the free education, and the socialistic style of not charging fees right up to 10th or 12th standard now have all helped Kerala build up a huge economy now based on manpower export, which is the only reason I think Kerala economy is surviving. We've had amazingly a 9.5% state GDP growth last year as compared to a lower rate for the whole of India. You don't find industry there, you don't find much industry except hospitality, I think. But in spite of that, it is education which is really helping us. And as a humanist, I think he has concern not only for human beings but also for the environment. And this concern is not something new. It's recently quite a fad. It's very fashionable to say I am a sustainable industry man, or I am an environmentalist, etc. But long before this became really fashionable, Captain Krishnan Nair has right from the beginning of his career been able to work towards creating good environments and seeing that pollution does not result as a result of the handloom or the garment industry, etc., which he was heading, as well as the hospitality industry. So this steadfast adherence to values like environmentalism and to quality in service have ensured that he has always bounced back, whatever be the setbacks which have come, There is a saying which goes like this, you can't keep a good man down, and certainly Captain Krishnan Nair was a good man who could not be kept down at all. He was always bouncing up, whatever be the adversity, whatever be the adverse circumstances he had to face. Hotels having international quality cannot be built up unless you are able to recruit the best talent in the world. I don't know how But this man has been able to entice and to retain global talent of the highest order in the hospitality industry. I have watched with awe how he is able to retain foreign people who had come over here and worked on our own terms, and still I think he maintains very good relationships with most of them. You know, the entire life story of Captain Krishnan Nair is a very interesting one. I think that this could be a subject for a movie in future. I mean, if there are any movie makers here, you should make a movie about it. I think certainly it will be a it'll be a hit movie, I'm sure. And the way his life is being written about as in a biography, I think that can form the basis of the screenplay. Anyway, from a very modest beginning as a lower middle class child of a government official, one of 8 children, he has been able to show an upward growth right from then. The Raja of Chirakkal, came to his school, which was sponsored by him, and at the age of 10, I've heard that he wrote a poem which impressed the Raja so much that he immediately gave him 1,000 rupees, which must have been a lot of money in those days. And he also promised that a lifelong scholarship will be given to him as long as he wants to study, which he made use of for his studies subsequently in Madras. But, joining the freedom fighter movement at the age of 13, meeting with AKG at a very young age, leading student demonstrations from school kids, and then going on to meet very, very important people like Subhash Chandra Bose. If you see his the contacts which he has had, like the Frontier Gandhi, VP Menon, who was the advisor to Lord Mountbatten, and Sheikh Abdullah, and the generals in the army who he had worked with as ADC, GB Pant, in addition to Pandit Nehru himself, particularly after creating the All India Handloom Board. When he was in the textile business, he had been able to have close contact with Pandit Ji. All this is very exceptional. And his stint in the army, particularly as a wireless officer and later in the Maratha light infantry, was a learning process. But his entire life changed, I think, since the time he met and married Mrs. Leela Krishnan Nair. I think in 1950 the marriage took place, if I am not mistaken, and from then onwards he went on to the marketing of products, handloom products abroad, not only the products made by her illustrious industrialist father, but also others. And after quitting the army, he used all his discipline and his innovation in international marketing, which took him to various hotels around the world. And everybody knows that in about 30 years, that is by about 1980, he was a very wealthy man. And what would have been written off as a disaster, bleeding Madras, he converted it into a real marketing masterpiece, I think. That was nothing short of a marketing masterpiece. You had a fabric which used to run color when you put it in water, and this was a time when blue jeans also did the same thing. So maybe the Americans thought this is something like that, and every time you wash it, it comes with a different color, and that became the rage, and that is where he made a lot of money. If that is not innovation, what is innovation? So, by about 1980, this property, about 4-acre property in North Bombay had come, and the Shahar International Airport came here. I think it was in 80 or 81 it had come. Then, I think the credit always, Captain Krishnan Nair says the credit goes to Mrs. Leela Krishnan Nair. She said, why didn't you start a hotel here in this place? And he said, I didn't have the expertise, but she persisted. And then, as Prince Vaidin was saying earlier, SBI refused him. But what I heard was that he went over to all his contacts, exporters of or importers of handloom textiles in the US and so on, and made them contribute about $5,000 each. And $5,000 each was not such a big amount in those days, because the exchange rate was only about 5 rupees for $1 or so. But $5,000 each was contributed from 200 people or so, and that became the capital with which he could go and borrow and create the empire which he is presiding over now. very, interesting things have happened as far as Kerala is concerned, because he's always shown a great interest to Kerala, particularly to Kannur. Those of you who have been keeping touch with Kerala know that the Kannur International Airport almost entirely owes its existence to the initiative taken by Captain Krishnan Nair. Nobody would have thought that, after having an airport in Mangalore and another one in Malappuram, it's supposed to be Calicut, but it's actually in Malappuram, you can have one more airport, international standard airport in Kannur. And right from the time I met him, along with Sushila Gopalan, he has been talking about this. And he has also taken it further to have an international stadium and convention center in Kannur, his hometown. And I think that this commitment is something which I really appreciate him about. There are a lot of people who come from Kerala who really become big in whatever field they work, and then they forget about Kerala. But he has strong roots. He always goes back to his roots in Kerala. The list of awards he has got is mind-boggling. I think it was he got the Golden Globe Award when I was Secretary for Industries and Commerce, and in fact, Mrs. Sushila Gopalan asked me to write a letter congratulating you for that. I think that was for the export in clothing, which was done, it was given by the Ministry of Textiles at that time. And earlier, I think in 1999, when also I was working as Industry Secretary, the UNEP, United Nations Environment Programme's Global 500 Laureate of Honor was received from none other than the Emperor of Japan by Captain Krishnan Nair. These are exceptional awards. In 2002, the Uday Singh Award, again for environmental protection, came to him. And long before this, the awards for environment were popular in India, he was getting all these awards. In 2010, he got the Hotelier of the Century Award from International Hotel and Restaurants Association in Geneva, and the Green Hotelier Award also a couple of years before that. Recently, you know that he had got the Padmabhushan in 2010. I was in Delhi too, sir, but you may not have, we may not have met, because one of my cousins, Professor Somasundaram, who is also from Kerala, who is a professor of, he is a professor in Columbia University. He got a Padma Shri at that same function. I was also present there. As you know, his hero, even now, I think, is Subhash Chandra Bose. And he always says that if Subhash Chandra Bose was still living, India would have been the most advanced nation in the world. And he believes it. And another statement which he says is that bureaucracy is the biggest bane. I belong to the bureaucracy, sir. But even then, I appreciate it, because I too believe that bureaucracy often stands in the way of progress, particularly in the case of entrepreneurs and helping entrepreneurs. There are exceptions, like states like Gujarat are now having very good reception for entrepreneurs. The state of Maharashtra is not lacking also in that. You are very advanced. But there are other states, particularly our state, Kerala, which really are not up to the mark, which we have to shamefully admit. And I would say that, after receiving all these awards, Hotelier India Awards, Condé Nast Travel Awards in 2011, Times Travel Academy Awards 2011, all this when I was in Mumbai, you had received, sir. And I had called to thank you all, to congratulate you also. I think that only thing I can do now is to wish him and his inspiration, that is his wife, Srimati Leela Krishnan Nair, years of health, happiness and prosperity, and may his life be a model for aspiring entrepreneurs. May his life be a model for aspiring entrepreneurs who are going to be the wealth of India, not only in the hospitality industry, but in all other sectors. I wish that the Leela Group, headed by both his sons, Vivek Nair and Dinesh Nair, who are also my friends, and by the next generation, will lead India into a new era of hospitality standards, not only within the country, but globally. I once again thank you, sir, for patiently listening to all this. I may have been rambling, and I also thank the KK Foundation for having been given an opportunity. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Radhakrishnan, for your sharing your thoughts today, and especially for all those people who are gathered here, the story of Dr. Captain Krishnan Nair today. And since you mentioned in English, I think most of them would have followed also. Thank you very much for coming all the way from Kerala and gracing this occasion and felicitating our chief patron, Dr. Captain Krishnan Nair. Now, may I request our next Dr. James to come and say his story or the way he wants to put it about Captain Nair. Thank you.
The legendary entrepreneur, Dr. Captain Krishnan Nair, and the dignitaries on the dais and friends. You know, I stand here on behalf of the DY Patil Group and the University and the Academia of India to felicitate Captain Nair for the honorary doctorate that he has received. You know, an honorary doctorate is given called honoris causa. Honoris causa is for a cause, for a success, for leadership. It ensembles what is known as an achievement and a recognition for also it's an honor for the university also to have giving it to eminent persons. You know, when I was the Vice Chancellor at DY Patil University about 2 years back, we thought about and we discussed about giving a doctorate to Dr. Krishnan Nair. He had almost accepted it, but Jodhpur University has now beaten to us. So now we have to now. But 2 days back, we just talked to Dr. D.Y. Patil, who is our emeritus founder chancellor, and he still has the mind to ask Dr. Krishnan Nair to accept it. We are not giving it. It is our honor if Dr. Krishnan Nair accepts the honorary doctorate from our university. We had the opportunity to give honorary doctors when I was Vice Chancellor to one of the astronauts, Charles Duke, who was, Charlie Duke is from Texas, who was the 14th man to walk on the moon and the 12th man alive today. And also Dr. King was one of the eminent cardiologists. You know, I am a cardiac surgeon primarily, and I've done about 12,000 surgeries, and I trained a lot with Dr. King, who was in Atlanta, and Dr. Cooley in Texas. And both of us, we had invited. Dr. Cooley could not travel, otherwise we would have given him an honorary doctorate. We gave also one to Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, and he received it, and the president of M.S. Swaminathan for the agricultural contribution that he has made to this land, and also to President of Guyana, who traveled all the way. You know, Guyana is a country with 50% Indians still, you know, there, and it's a big, and we have going to have some links with them on education. Also, the Prime Minister of Mauritius we gave. So, in that luminaries, Dr. Nair's, Captain Krishnan Nair's name came up. So, friends, you just think how important a person he is, even in the area of academia as well as environment. You know, it is said that if your creed, I think, if you want your world to heed, put your creed before your deed. So there has to be a philosophy and ethos when you do your deed. Dr. Nair has been able to show that in this world of hospitality, in this world of environment, a creed he had. He was the person who was able to build up an empire because of his nature, humble as well as friendly. You know, I met him a couple of times in his office. It is also said that, you know, if you spend a few moments with somebody and you forget yourself, and that person is somebody you cannot forget. And that was a person Dr. Nair was. And the most magical moments are those when you lose yourself, in the presence, in the joy of someone else. And the way he's able to narrate, the way he's able to connect with people was something which has been a mark of success. You know, this room this evening communicates something. Our friend here has been able to, Prince has been able to organize this meeting with the help of Kashmir to Kerala Foundation and to invite all these people. This room communicates energy. This room today communicates success. This room communicates leadership. It also communicates achievement. And that has come because of the communication that we throw when we recognize people, when we felicitate people. People like Dr. Krishnan Nair has been able to enthrall many thousands of people who have come to the portals of his hotels, which may be 2,500 beds or so. Talking about communication, you know, Dr. Nair just received an award from the Japanese emperor. You know, the Japanese are not very good in English. Japanese Prime Minister was trying to meet President Clinton. So before he went, he was told, you say this, and the president will reply this, and then the interpreters will take over. So when you meet the president, Japanese Prime Minister was told, you must say, how are you? President will say, fine, and you? Then you will say, me too. So 2 sentences, then you can remember that much. And then the Japanese Prime Minister went to White House. You know, the Marine Band and the atmosphere is quite enthralling. You know, he got a little nervous. Instead of asking, how are you? He said, who are you? And the world's biggest president, the strongest president, somebody comes to his office and asks him, who are you? So he said, he will play it up a little. He said, I am Hillary's husband. So the Japanese Prime Minister said, me too, me too. So it has to be a proper communication that will take us there. Dr. Nair was also known for his relationships. You know, relationship is something which we need to develop. Relationship is said, it is sweeter than honey, it is greater than money. It is smoother than silk, whiter than milk. It is higher than any tower, but stronger than any power. The fact that was alluded to by Mr. Radhakrishnan about how he was able to enlist, keep all the talents that is possible for the hospitality industry, I think is mainly because of his relationship, that he was able to forge with every levels of people. You know, the amount of, the type of people, everyone is not the same, just like both the fingers of your hand, they're all different. But it requires all the fingers to put together for a sculptor to do that art, the object of art that he is going to make. And one finger alone cannot do it. So he recognized the talent, and there are people at various levels who would be there and who would be able to do that. It is important also to know that many times you are disappointed. I'm sure the earlier times struggle, the earlier times of difficulties were all mentioned, and how he has been able to go through. Someone said that, troubles and difficulties are when people experience. This is something like that you go through a washing machine. When you go through, hard times are like going through a washing machine. You go through a washing machine, you are twisted, you are turned, and you are, you are squeezed, whatever. But at the end of it, what comes out, you become cleaner, you become brighter, and then you become better than before, isn't it? So all that experiences that Dr. Nair had probably brought him to come out into this area of hospitality and environment brighter, better, as well as cleaner, isn't it? And that is something which he has been able to do, and we are grateful to that for what he has been able to do. You know, many times criticisms are part of every organization. You know, we all, in the university, in the colleges, in the hospitals, if you do something, somebody always criticizes you. And if you run after that criticism, you get lost. The best thing probably do is that give more amount of time to improve yourselves, that you have no time to criticize others. And Dr. Nair has certainly taken criticism well, and he is able to improve whatever areas that they were alluding to. There are pointers probably, which you can probably able to do that. Many people think that, take it easy, they'll say, in times of stress, etc. Taking it easy is for people who are the usual people. But making it easy is the concept of brilliant people. Try to make it easy for people who are working with you. people who are coming to your portals, your clients, your people, your service providers and all that, try to make it easy for them so that they can continue the relationship with you. That exactly was the keynote of success for Captain Nair. We are grateful for a person like him because, you know, he has shown what success can be in a particular field. You know, I was quite enthralled by the 7 C's of leadership, which the one of the Chrysler Corporation chairman, you know, he was one of the largest corporations in the world. He talked about 7 C's of leadership. The 7 C's was, you know, competence, confidence, courage, charisma, and communication, and others. And Dr. Krishnan certainly showed all these C's in his area of work. You know, he was a good communicator, probably. He was able to communicate his needs, his requirements, his orders. I was in his office while just a few minutes at one time, at the age of maybe about 3 years back, at 89 years, he was still thinking about what the flora is going to be, the fauna is going to be, the greenery that the new hotel is going to have. That much of attention to details was something huge. That was certainly the competence that he had. He had the confidence. You know, you need confidence to meet with people, as was mentioned. Building up a 5-star hotel is not an easy thing. It doesn't happen in 2 days, but to follow up the requirements, the documentations, and persistence was something which he has been able to. He also showed courage, not to lose out when things are difficult. Many hotels don't do very well all the time. There are times when there are difficulties, and to keep up and to go ahead with that courage that he has done. And also a person of charisma. I'm not talking about K-A-R-I-S-M-A, but that there are many charismas in our life. I'm talking about C-H-A-R-I-S-M-A. You know, charisma is something which others see in you and others get attracted to you. And certainly the person of Captain Krishnan Nair has that charisma because of the hard work that he has been able to do. You know, nothing can replace hard work, I'm sure. There must have been many years along with his dear wife and the family, they have pondered over the directions that they need to take, what can happen. At the same, many hours were spent toiling. And that hard work was there, but they never gave up. You know, the motto of success is be prepared. That's what we were taught when we were Boy Scouts. You know, I was a troop leader, Boy Scouts. But Hudson Taylor says the success is because you need to be patient, and be patient. Patience only can bring in the rewards that you can collect in the many years that can happen. And it is the difficulty times that can draw you back. I was with Al Gore, Vice President of the United States, when he came to open one of our conferences in Madras, you know, in cardiac surgeons conference. You might wonder what is the Vice President who was the environmental promoter doing in heart surgeons meeting. But he said, every responsible citizen has got the need to keep this earth going for a generation to come, and we have that responsibility. And Captain Krishnan Nair had it in his heart many years before the international awareness has come up about environmental management. We thank you, sir, for that thing which you have been able to. And he mentioned, Dr. Nair, when we were talking about the amount of interest that he had in the environment, and that just shows that, you know, it need not be in your own area of sphere of working, but you can also have other concerns in your life. Dr. Radhakrishnan talked about how a nationalist he is. You know, a national interest is very important. I was in Delhi for 16 years. You know, I was doing heart surgery there, and then Dr. Diva Patil asked me to come as the VC here. I said, you know, every Republic Day parade, when I was in Delhi, I attended that. You attend that Republic Day parade, you know, 1 or 2 degrees of your national interest goes up, and that is important. That patriotism that we need to have. You know, regardless of the squabbles and the politics or whatever it is, our country is forefront, and our people who are our brothers and sisters, and we need to work for them and to continue to be together. Then only that can happen. Somebody said unity is the most important thing, you know. If we can be together, you know, we can achieve a lot of things. And that is exactly what Dr. Krishnan Nair had shown. And when the unity is shown, that unity can translate into community also. You know, stewardship is something which he has showed us. You know, a mention was made about a book that is being mentioned. Maybe Captain Krishnan should be invited to the Harvard University or some of the Stanford universities to talk about management. I mean, you know, there would be many who would like to listen to him. That responsible use of your resources is stewardship. And he has not wasted any of the monies that has been collected. He put it into good use in the right way. And that is a lesson for all of us. Stewardship is giving to the society in terms of preaching, in the sense that you tell them what is the right way to do, teaching, healing, helping, giving, and caring. And some of these areas is something which we need to do. You know, the Bible talks about that man who was waylaid in the thieves robbed a man and put him in the wayside, and he went away. Whereas one priest and Levite walked by, they were busy, they could not do anything. But one good Samaritan came and stopped by, took that man, put oil on his wounds, took him to the inn, and paid the money for that, and told the innkeeper that when I come back, I'll pay you more. What that thief was saying was, what you have is mine, and I will take it. And what that priest and Levite said, what I have is mine, I will keep it. But the good Samaritan said, what I have is yours also, and we can share it. And it is this that is required for nation building. The attitude to show our resources, our talents, which can be shared. The empire that has been built as hotels by Captain Nair, Vivek, Dinesh, and all the others together, and all our friends here, is for millions to enjoy, millions to come to an area of excellence, millions to show forth that they can have an attitude of excellence in this country as well. I can go on and on, but there are many speakers to speak, and I thank Prince and many others and the officials of the Kashmir and Kerala Foundation asking me to be here. From the academia field, from the university field, we are grateful that such a person has been honored, and that he has accepted this honor, and it's a great thing for the university. And we are hoping, sir, that you would consider our request to have a second doctorate given by the D.Y. Patil University in the next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. James, for that charismatic words of yours, and giving the pleasure to Dr. Krishnan Nair to accept from your university also. Thank you very much. Now, may I ask Father Jai Singh, you an ambassador, to say a few words about Captain Nair, Dr. Captain Nair. We got to familiarize ourselves with these words now.
Respected Dr. Captain Nair ji, respected dignitaries, my hearty greetings in the name of the God Almighty. Today, all of a sudden, our Mr. Prince Vaidyan asked me to talk something about our Dr. Krishnan Nair. All of a sudden, just 10 minutes back. Actually, I don't have I don't know how to express the words about our Dr. Krishnan Nair, because he is a great visionary, missionary, and he is example for Indian hotel industry. There is a proverb in Tamil. I want to tell that proverb in Tamil also, because our Dr. Krishnan Nair started his hotel industry when he was 64 years old, I think. Maybe after 60 only he has started. But there is a palanjol in Tamil, Pathile Padukam, Irubadile Idukam, Mupale Mudukam, Napadile Nadukam, Ambadila Atam, Arubadile Watam. This is a palanjol. But Arubadile Watam. எங்க ஓட்டம் மேலே அல்லது கீழே, நிலத்துக்கு கீழே அல்லது நிலத்துக்கு மேலே. But our Captain Krishnan Nair started his hotel industry after 60, ஓட்டமும் போய் ஆட்டமும் போய் நாட்டமும் போய். So this is the real thing our captain, Dr. Captain Nair has started the hotel industry. In the United States, during these 38 years I am in the United States, 2 months there, 2 months here, I met so many Americans. They are very powerful. Internationally, they are powerful. They used to ask me, what is your opinion about one of the states in India called Kerala? They used to ask me, tell me something about Kerala, because everywhere we can see Keralites, anywhere in the world. I used to tell them, as per my knowledge, in India, Kerala is the blessed state. Kerala is the blessed state. They used to ask me why, how. I used to tell them, Kerala has 100% literacy. Kerala has sweetest water in India. Kerala people live averagely 85%, 85 years. 85 years normally they live. Kerala people are healthy, wealthy and beauty. Both. You see handsome person here sitting. And also, when I used to tell like this in America, United States of America, they used to tell me, you are right. Because we don't afraid of any people in this world, any terrorist or whoever, we don't care. We don't afraid of any people. But we Americans are afraid of one kind of people. Do you know who is that people? I said, I don't know. They are Keralites. I asked them why. The Americans told me, we human beings are having only one brain on our head. But your Keralite people having brains all over the body. This is the thing I want to say. Now I want to come to the point. I want to say something about our Padmabhushan, Dr. Krishnan Nair. I know him very well. He is very, very kind. I want to say something, few words about him. Dr. Padmabhushan Captain Nair is man of abundant, man of bold and brave, man of courage, courtesy, and man of culture. And he is man of dynamic. He is man of enthusiasm. He is man of followers. He is man of gentleness. He is man of hospitality and humbleness. He is man for India. He is man of joy. He is man of Kerala. He is man of Leela. Few words, allow me. He is man of mission. He is man of non-religious. He is man of ours. He is man of personality. He is man of the queen. You know, if there is a palace, who will stay there? King or queen? So in all Leela palace, who lives? Queen Leela. So he is man of Leela. And also, he is man of righteousness. He is man of smile and simplicity. He is man of tremendous deeds. He is man of universe. He is man of victory and vision. He is man of wisdom. He is man of Xerox. What is the Xerox? He designs like anything, new designs of Leela palaces. So people are taking Xerox model. Some people are taking model of Leela palaces, taking Xerox, and they are constructing. That's called man of Xerox. And also man of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And finally, man of zeal, vairakyam. If he target one thing, he will finish it. So man of zeal. So I have already informed Mr. Ban Ki-moon, Secretary General, United Nations, that we have to give big award, international award, to our doctor. So just 10 minutes I prepared this A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H up to Z. Man of A, B, C, D up to Z. May God bless you, sir. And I am continuously pray for you, for your health and wealth and knowledge. May God bless you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Jai Singh, for sharing your A to Z on Dr. Captain Nair. Pranay, would you like to share for 2 minutes? I know you can talk for 2 hours, but since we have, and then we'll have blessings from Doctor himself.
Thank you very much, Prince Vaidyan, distinguished guests, Captain Nair, Mrs. Nair, the family, Rajiv Kaul, who I see there, the president of the group. I don't see Venu Krishnan, who was here a minute ago, and friends and distinguished guests. I have a different perspective on Captain Nair. Let me tell you what it is as a biographer. He's an impossible man to deal with. He is a man who's made me feel like a student again. Now, I've spent 7 months in his company and examining 4 different phases of his life. His early years in Kerala, his army years, his years in the export and the garment trades, and of course the Leela years. And I've done several biographies, but I've very rarely felt that instead of me asking the questions, I was being examined. Because every time Captain Nair says something, he looks at me as though he expects me to kind of repeat what he has said. And then he looks at my my notebook to double check whether I've actually written these things, and said, what have I just said? And he knows exactly what he just said. He just wants to test me whether I recall that or not. But when I heard that he would receive a doctorate, that he'd become a doctor, he told me very plainly, he says, Pranay says, I'm going to be a doctor. And that made me immediately panic. I said, my God, now he has a 5th phase. When did the man find the time to study medicine? And I said, not only that, I said to myself, this man is going to use me as one of his guinea pigs. I mean, I could just imagine him injecting me with all kinds of unmentionable liquids, and seeing what my reaction would be. Fortunately, I was not the only one to think that. When we arrived in Jodhpur, Amitabh Bachchan, who was sitting next to him, was wondering what illness of his he should tell Dr. Nair to cure. Well, fortunately, he had no illness. But all by way of saying that this man is an extraordinary man who is, for a biographer like myself, who needs to be neutral, it is impossible to be neutral in his case, because he has not only a dramatic life, as everyone has said, but he has a way of expressing his life in a way that gives credit to others. He has never said, I did this, I did that. Most of all, he, of course, acknowledges the role of his parents. He acknowledges the role of Mrs. Nair. He acknowledges the role of his colleagues. But I've never, in all these months that I've been with him, ever heard him saying, this happened because of me. And this is, I guess, a hallmark of true leadership. It really is. And since I've been given 2 minutes or less by Prince Vaidyan, let me just say this. For a biographer or a writer, one brings an element of skepticism into one kind of wonders, about a story that somebody tells. but the authenticity and the passion and the romance that Captain Nair has brought to his life and recreated in details, that to a biographer is a treasure trove, because he has been able to go back to his life and actually make me feel that I was there. And I hope that if that is conveyed in the book, more and wider audiences will know what an extraordinary gift to our society and to the world society he has been and continues being. And all I want to really say is thank you for the opportunity, Captain Nair, for his team, for Mrs. Nair. Mrs. Nair is his ultimate weapon, which is that sometimes when Captain Nair feels that I'm not working hard enough, he says, you know, Leela has asked me to ask you to show her what you have written, which immediately puts me on the spot and gets me back to getting up in the middle of the night and writing something. But I'm hoping that it's a book that people will enjoy, people will be encouraged by, and most of all, people will be inspired by. But for all this to happen, only one person, and only two people are responsible. One is, of course, Captain Nair, and of course, Mrs. Nair. So thank you for the opportunity, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Pranay. Those lovely words, and what we are going to read. We are going to read all that, what you're going to write, I'm sure. And now,
He said, buy the book.
yeah, he wants us to buy the book. Is it there right now? No, not as yet. Okay, we'll let you know once it is there. And K2K will be happy to distribute it to all its members sitting here at their cost. Thank you. Now may I request you, sir, to bless the gathering. Yeah, it's all there. It's working?
Hello.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Please bless the gathering. Thank you.
I must address first Prince Vaidyan. Prince, you made me dumb. I can't talk. But I must talk. You brought father all the way from Madras. I did not know. You surprised me. And father blessed me in a very hearty manner, for which I am most grateful to you. We need blessings of people like him all the time. He brought Krishnan, who made my Yadagam. I don't go to horoscope, but here is the person who was narrating the horoscope of my life. Of course, he revealed me a new fact. I'm always admiring his ability and his competence in the administration, but he gave me the news his uncle is my very dear friend for many years here. That is a new development for me. Not only that, Radhakrishnan is extremely competent man. He was building a second Navashrava or third Navashrava port. First was done by Madam Malhotra, Anna Malhotra. Second is done by you. But he was going to build three Navashrava port. His ambition was unbounded. And I thought, he will make it. And if he makes it, it will be only one in the world. But fortunately, for Kerala, he has been pulled to Kerala to make a memorable port in Vidyam. If he can take charge of it, if Kerala government will make it happen, to take charge of it, that will be one of the most unique development for the state. I wish him best of luck, and of course, Kerala, one has to tread very carefully. I had to get out of the place to perform. And after getting all this accolades and awards and this Doctorate, I hear Kerala, his department or his friends are wanting to give me a lifetime achievement award on 30th of this month. And the reason what they gave me was, he had not been honored so far in Kerala, and therefore you must get it. I'm accepting it, but relatively. But the way the award came, the proposal came, the who made the proposal is the publisher of my biography in Malayalam. So I reluctantly accepted it, and I'll be coming. But if anyone can give a keynote speech, it will be another action on that day in Kerala. But see, you also can come for that function. In life, I never look for any result. I'm a great believer Gita. Come on, that is, you do your duty, don't think of your results. Results will be taken care by me. That's what Lord Krishna says to Arjuna. I think that's a great, one of the most greatest of advice one can get in life. You do your work, don't think of result. Impossible to do that, but you can do it in the best way. When I look back, I never expected it to happen this way. I went down and worked. Never bothered about the result. And so, even this, after 92 years, somebody trusting me a doctorate and already calling me Doctorate Nair. It's I take it in a stride. Like Kerala, like the emerging Kerala, we have not done anything for him so far. We are inviting you. That is not true. We keep getting accolades and compliments all the time. Not once in a lifetime, but we keep getting every day. I keep getting the blessings of people who are in contact with me. I keep getting blessing of my own people working with me. So the results are coming every day. But I'm never bothered. And this accolade of doctorate, of course our doctor spoke so eloquently about his own experience in America. Doctorate, that is America. Of course, that is the land of work and culture. chance. But it can happen. You must leave it to your people, the children, keep striving for the best. That is my philosophy, personal philosophy. But what made me most unhappy was that our country is not progressing the way country should do. I was hoping that we would be equal to China about 5 years back. But now we find we are far behind. We cannot catch up with China. Why not? Then I thought, that is because politicians did not allow even education for people. Now, in Jodhpur I spoke to people that India should, every child in this country should get education. In that university, when I was getting this doctorate, I found almost 20,000 people in the audience, all clamoring for Amitabh and our function. There was lack of discipline. There was humble tumble. That's because the people who came there or who are there, half educated, not even educated, or maybe wanting to have, or audience. The country has to work for a new program of education for every child in this country, compulsory free education. It should be free and compulsory. If it is free and compulsory, we will find the money. What is there for this country? Money is there. You don't take it, that's all. If you give education, the country will be literate in 10 years' time. And in 10 years' time, there will be no country in the world can surpass India. Everyone will be literate. And when they are literate, they will be clean, they will be hygienic, they will live a different life, they will know their responsibility. And as father said, A to Z, which father said will be happy to those people who are studying, who learned it. When you, this was the dream of my uncle, V.P. Menon. He told me several times, Krishna, you should educate people. Our country lacks education. There is education in Kerala, but it is not real education. Bringing the character of the people along with the education. And then automatically it will happen. Everything will be different. 10 years' time, you will become China, better than China. That, of course, for me, is only a dream. I'm sorry to say a little pessimistically, because how can it happen? Educate all the people in the country. Very difficult. But that is the need. If you do it, if you fully educate, then there will be so much of development there will be all-round development, and India will be able to catch on with the rest of the world and be one of the most prosperous nations in the world. That's my only desire left in life. I think the rest of our time, that all of us strive for it. In a small way we do it. My wife's father-in-law, Leela has set up a foundation in his memory, and he's educating hundreds of competent school children for higher education. Because there is nothing, we are doing it little, but we should do it. It is the need of the hour. Educate people. And then, along with that, all-round development, vision, determination, achievement, achieve quality of. I see our Prime Minister gone today to China and Russia. He should have done this here. Educate the people. Why should he go there? They will come here. He would have been equal to China and Russia. By he's going to China and Russia. But Anna's friend, Prime Minister, you must write to Anna, Prime Minister, you are going to China and Russia, do something about the education of the country. Of course, it may not happen, but it should happen. Many things which I heard today, I did not know. I was capable of doing that, or I was, and now you are misleading poor Pranay about me. He'll be so confused. He can't write the biography. Can you write the biography now, having heard Radhakrishnan speaking and Doctor speaking and father of all the people A to Z? But I think I don't want to say it is an amazing evening. Prince, I did not want to have this function, but today I enjoyed the most this function. It is a reward for me. Thank you so much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, you have assembled here. I have bored you by speaking a little more than my wife said, don't speak more than 5 minutes. I have spoken 10 minutes. But I'm provoked to speak because after Radhakrishna's and after father's A to Z, and I said, I must say something. And after Prince doing so affectionately, holding this function here, Prince keep doing this kind of function that people can interact and hear something, and your esteemed committee members of the Capt Social Foundation, they are doing an extremely useful job in getting people together, meeting people together. You would have never brought Farooq Abdullah to Hawaii only because of persistence of Prince. And he cut short and came, Farooq. But he told me, whispered in my ears, I can't say no to you. And I come. But he enjoyed coming to Hawaii and the function he held. Very good. And now a Genesis, now Kashmir to Kerala. 2-3 functions happen. It should happen, continue to happen. And if you have more dissemination of knowledge and culture and achievement. Incidentally, I met Farooq Abdullah's father, Sheikh Abdullah, when I was 19 years old. He had come to erstwhile Northwest Frontier Province to meet Badshah Khan, Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan. He was Frontier Gandhi. He was greater than Gandhi. I was working in Ahmedabad. I went to, when I heard he is coming, I said I must go and see him. And when I went, he was surrounded by people, Afghan frontier people. He was the air hound, Khudai Khidmatkar, that is, the servants of God. That was the organization. Impossible to see him, but then when I said, I am from Kerala, you'll be here. Then I moved that side, I found Sheikh Abdullah sitting in the corner. And he did not know Pashto, but then he saw me. I came close to him. He was a great man. One of the greatest men of the country was Sheikh Abdullah, Farooq Abdullah's father. I had such various incidents in life, come across such people. Then after that, after meeting that, I got a gift from Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan. You come and stay with me in Peshawar. I said, yes, sir, you come. When I went there, Peshawar, he and his family, 2 sons, Wali Khan and Ghani Khan, my age. They were very, they knew English well, and his brother was Khan Sahib, was the Chief Minister of NWFP. He also I met. Today they are not the people of that kind today. Today it is Taliban and gone. Got their problems. But we had men like Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, Khan Sahib's brother. Of course, it is destiny of India that we lost Frontier Province. But many things can happen now. India is destined for a great future. That is the potential of thing. I think it will happen. Today's speech also, many people spoke very inspiring. I am fulfilled, actually fulfilled. If there is a life fulfillment, it is today's meeting. Thank you.
Let's all give him a standing ovation. Thank you, sir. Down memory lane, it was truly very good, and I'm sure a lot of people would love to read the whole story when it comes out in print. We have some guests who would like to honor, who have come here. May I request them to please come up quick and fast. Mr. Kumaran Nair would like to felicitate Dr. Captain Nair. Please bring a bouquet of flowers. Mr. S.R. Pillai, Mr. P.R. Krishnan, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Radhakrishnan Chemtrolls, and Mr. Suresh Hirko. Please come. Mr. S.R. Pillai, Mr. Radhakrishnan, Mr. P.R. Krishnan, Mr. Suresh, Mr. Radhakrishnan, and our Mr. Hanuman Tripathi. Mr. P.K. Nambiar, Mr. Patnaik, Mr. Upendra Menon, Mr. Host Mr. Upendra Menon, Mr. Vijay Kumar, host Vijay Kumar. There are 2 or 3 around. I'm sure all of you would like to give, but Mr. Mani, Mr. Mani, Mr. Vijay Kumar, Kerala, Mumbai, Mr. Hari Kumar, and Mr. Hariharan. Mr. Santosh Pillai, Mr. Kumar, Mr. V.N. Gopalakrishnan, Mr. D.R. Nair, Mr. Sanjeevan, Mr. Shrikandan Nair, Mr. Sanjeevan Manibal, Mr. Shrikant Nair, Mr. Jacob Oman, thank you all.
അടുത്തതായിട്ട് the last വോട്ട് ഓഫ് താങ്ക്സ് ആണ് അവർ ഡയറക്ടർ ശ്രീ വിജയ് പർവാണി will deliver few words.
Good evening. It gives me great pleasure to propose a vote of thanks for the end of the felicitation program for Padmabhushan, Dr. Capt. Nair. Enough has been said about Dr. Capt. Nair. In fact, the Reverend Father called him the man of A to Z. I would go ahead and say that he is a man of K to K, that is Kashmir to Kerala. I also take this opportunity to thank Mr. L. Radhakrishnan, Dr. James Thomas. A special thanks to Mr. Prince Vaidyan, who who's the president of this foundation, who does an excellent work in striving towards social equality and development for mankind at large. Also, thanks to Pranav, who is writing autography on Doctor, and all the staff of the Leela Group, the K&K Foundation. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. It was a great pleasure having you all here. Thanks very much.
Can we now all stand for the national anthem to conclude the proceedings? Thank you one and all for being here and felicitating Dr. Capt. Nair today.
जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा, विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा। तव शुभ नामे जागे, तव शुभ आशीष मागे, गाहे तव जय गाथा। जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
Thank you all.